Every meaningful transformation begins with a clear and compelling reason. When you understand why you want to change your life, the habits you choose no longer feel like tasks. You begin to see them as necessary steps toward becoming who you want to be. Starting with why means digging into the emotional core of your intentions. It means going beneath the surface level desires and asking yourself what you truly hope to achieve, who you want to become, and why that matters. Without this foundation, habits easily fall apart. With it, they become powerful and sustaining. When you wake up each morning and reconnect with your why, you create purpose before the day even begins. Purpose gives you direction. It helps you filter out distractions and stay committed to the actions that align with the life you want to build. Most people fail to maintain new habits not because they are incapable, but because they never define their deeper motivation. They focus on what they want to do without understanding why they want to do it. The why acts as your anchor during moments of resistance. When things feel difficult, routines feel repetitive, or progress feels slow, your why reminds you that the struggle is meaningful. Starting with why also helps you clarify what truly matters. Too often, people chase goals that aren't actually theirs, expectations from society, family, or comparison. But when your why comes from within, every habit becomes a personal choice, not an obligation. This creates authenticity in your actions. You stop trying to live up to someone else's definition of success and start building a life that reflects your own values. Your habits become tools of alignment, each one bringing you closer to your true self. Your why should be vivid enough to inspire you and honest enough to challenge you. It should reflect the future you want to step into. For example, if you want to adopt healthier habits, your why might not simply be to lose weight. That lacks emotional depth. A stronger why sounds like, I want to have more energy to be present for the people I love. Or I want to feel confident and strong in my own body. These reasons connect to identity and meaning, not just outcomes. The deeper the emotional connection, the stronger the commitment becomes. Understanding your why also shapes the way you respond to obstacles. Instead of seeing difficulties as signs to quit, you begin recognizing them as part of the process. The why fuels resilience. When you know exactly why you started, setbacks no longer define you, they refine you. They shape your discipline, build your character, and strengthen your determination. Your purpose becomes a source of stability when things get tough. When you live with a clear why, your decisions become easier. You waste less time, you invest more energy intentionally, and you begin to see progress more quickly. Every habit you build becomes a brick placed with purpose, forming the foundation of the life you envision. And as you strengthen your why over time, it continues to evolve with you, becoming even more powerful and meaningful. At the core of every great leader, every successful individual, and every life-changing journey is a strong why. It is the compass that guides you, the fuel that drives you, and the voice that reminds you to keep going when motivation fades. If you want your daily habits to transform your life in the next 30 days, begin by understanding why you want that change. Because once your why is clear, your how becomes possible. Embrace discipline. Small, consistent actions create big transformations. Discipline is the invisible force that turns intentions into reality. It is not about perfection, nor is it about pushing yourself to extremes. Discipline is simply the commitment to show up every day, even when you don't feel like it, and take small actions that move you closer to your goals. Most people assume that big changes require dramatic gestures, but in truth, transformation is built quietly. It is built through ordinary moments where you choose consistency over excuses, progress over comfort, and purpose over temporary feelings. When you embrace discipline, you begin to understand that motivation is unreliable. Motivation fades. It comes and goes depending on your mood, circumstances, and environment. But discipline is steady. Discipline carries you through days when motivation is nowhere to be found. It reminds you that your future self is shaped by what you choose to do today, not by what you feel like doing. Every time you honor your commitment, even in small ways, you strengthen your identity. You start to believe in your own capability. You prove to yourself that you can trust your own word. Discipline also teaches you patience. Progress rarely happens overnight. It's easy to become frustrated when results are slow or invisible. But discipline shifts your focus from instant gratification to long-term growth. You begin to value consistency more than speed. You start to realize that every small action compounds over time. Just as a single drop of water cannot carve a stone, but thousands can. Your daily habits slowly sculpt the person you become. What seems insignificant today becomes powerful when repeated over weeks and months. Embracing discipline also means learning to be comfortable with discomfort. Growth requires you to step outside the familiar and challenge your old patterns. Whether it's waking up earlier, exercising regularly, reading daily, or developing a new skill, the initial discomfort is part of the process. Discipline teaches you that discomfort is not a signal to stop, but a sign that you're moving in the right direction. It strengthens your mental resilience. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes natural. Your threshold for challenge increases, and with it, your confidence expands. Another key aspect of discipline is accountability. When you take responsibility for your actions, you stop blaming circumstances, other people, or your past. You accept that you have control over your choices, and that those choices shape your outcomes. Accountability gives you power. It frees you from the illusion that life just happens to you, and replaces it with the truth that you are an active participant in your own evolution. Discipline turns this awareness into daily practice. Staying disciplined also builds momentum. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes to stay consistent. Each day you follow through on your habits, you reinforce a positive cycle. Action creates progress, progress creates pride, and pride creates more action. Eventually, discipline becomes part of your identity. You no longer have to force yourself to act because showing up becomes who you are. You transform from someone who struggles with commitment into someone who naturally stays committed. Discipline is not rigid or punishing. It is a form of self-respect. It is choosing what is best for your future self, even when your present self is tempted by shortcuts or comfort. It is the acknowledgement that your dreams deserve consistent effort, not occasional attempts. When you embrace discipline, you unlock the ability to change any area of your life. You gain control over your habits, your mindset, and your trajectory. Ultimately, discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It doesn't require perfect conditions, extraordinary talent, or endless motivation. It only requires the willingness to take small, meaningful steps every day. When you commit to those steps with discipline, transformation becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Asterisk, asterisk, cultivate gratitude. Training your mind to see opportunity. Asterisk, asterisk, gratitude is more than a pleasant feeling. It is a powerful mindset that reshapes the way you see the world and respond to it. When you practice gratitude daily, you train your mind to shift its focus from what is missing to what is present, from what is wrong to what is right, and from scarcity to abundance. This shift may seem subtle, but its impact is profound. Gratitude changes the lens through which you view your life, and that lens influences your attitude, your decisions, your relationships, and your overall sense of well-being. Most people move through life constantly chasing the next thing, another achievement, another purchase, another milestone, believing happiness is somewhere out in the future. But gratitude brings you back to the present moment. It reminds you that there is value in what you already have and who you already are. It is not about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it is about acknowledging the good that still exists alongside the struggles. When you recognize that both can coexist, you start to build emotional resilience. You become less reactive to difficulties and more capable of handling them with clarity and calm. Practicing gratitude also counteracts one of the most common habits of the human mind: comparison. It is easy to look at others and feel inadequate or behind. Social media amplifies this tendency, creating unrealistic expectations of what life should look like. Gratitude interrupts this cycle. It redirects your attention from someone else's path back to your own. It reminds you that your journey is unique, that your progress is meaningful, and that your value is not determined by comparison. This internal grounding gives you confidence and peace. In moments of stress or frustration, gratitude acts as a stabilizing force. It encourages you to step back and recognize what is still working, what you have overcome, and what resources you still possess. This perspective shift doesn't magically solve problems, but it changes how you approach them. Instead of feeling defeated, you feel capable. Instead of feeling empty, you feel supported. Gratitude strengthens your ability to find solutions because it aligns your mind with possibility rather than limitation. Gratitude also enhances your relationships. When you appreciate the people around you, family, friends, colleagues, you begin to treat them with more kindness, patience, and respect. You listen more deeply, you express affection more freely, and you value moments more fully. People respond to this energy. Appreciation creates connection, and connection builds trust. As gratitude becomes a daily habit, your relationships grow stronger and more meaningful. You no longer take people or moments for granted, and that awareness creates a more fulfilling life. Another powerful aspect of gratitude is the impact it has on your emotional and physical health. When your mind focuses on what is good, your body responds. Stress decreases, your mood improves, and your motivation increases. Gratitude activates a sense of contentment that fuels productivity rather than complacency. Feeling grateful doesn't make you settle for less. It gives you the emotional stability to pursue more without feeling overwhelmed or anxious. It creates balance, the ability to want growth while appreciating the present. Cultivating gratitude is a daily choice, and like any habit, it grows stronger with repetition. Some days it will feel natural, and other days it will require intention. But even on difficult days, especially on difficult days, gratitude is a powerful anchor. It reminds you that there is always something to hold on to, something worth acknowledging, something good that deserves your attention. Over time, gratitude transforms your mindset from one of expectation to one of appreciation. You stop waiting for life to be perfect before you allow yourself to feel joy or satisfaction. You start recognizing that meaning and happiness come not from what you accumulate, but from how you perceive your experiences. When you train your mind to see opportunity through gratitude, you empower yourself to navigate life with strength, hope, and optimism. Choosing growth over comfort is one of the most important decisions you can make for your personal development. Growth demands that you stretch beyond what feels familiar and easy, pushing you into spaces where you must adapt, learn, and evolve. Comfort, on the other hand, keeps you safe but stagnant. It creates the illusion of stability while quietly preventing you from discovering your true potential. When you commit to seeking growth every day, you embrace a mindset that welcomes challenge as an opportunity rather than a threat. Leaning into challenges teaches you about your strengths and weaknesses in ways that comfort never can. When everything is predictable, you have no reason to change. But when you step into discomfort, whether by learning a new skill, taking on a difficult task, or facing something you fear, you engage parts of yourself that would otherwise remain dormant. You push your limits and expand your capacity. Growth becomes a continuous journey of self-discovery, revealing layers of resilience, creativity, and determination you may not have known you possessed. Seeking growth also requires stepping away from the need for immediate perfection. Many people avoid challenges because they fear failure or embarrassment. They worry about making mistakes or being judged, but growth thrives in vulnerability. When you allow yourself to be a beginner, to be imperfect, and to learn through trial and error, you open the door to profound transformation. Mistakes become lessons, failures become stepping stones. Every challenge you face becomes a source of wisdom and strength. Choosing growth over comfort also impacts your mindset. Instead of avoiding difficult situations, you begin to approach them with curiosity. You ask yourself what you can learn, how you can improve, and what strengths you can develop. This shift from avoidance to curiosity builds confidence. You stop doubting your abilities and start believing in your capacity to adapt. With each challenge you overcome, your self-trust grows stronger, making you more willing to take on future challenges. Another important aspect of seeking growth is that it keeps your goals alive. Comfort has a way of dulling ambitions, making you settle for less than what you are capable of achieving. But growth reignites your vision. It reminds you that progress is possible and that transformation is within reach. When you consistently choose actions that stretch you, even in small ways, you keep your momentum moving forward. Your goals remain active because you are actively pursuing them. Leaning into challenges also prepares you for the unpredictable nature of life. Discomfort builds resilience. It strengthens your ability to handle change, uncertainty, and adversity. When you regularly step outside your comfort zone, unexpected difficulties become less intimidating because you've trained yourself to adapt. You are not easily shaken because you have proven to yourself that you can face discomfort and emerge stronger. Ultimately, seeking growth is an act of courage. It is a commitment to becoming the best version of yourself, even when the path is uncomfortable. When you make growth a daily intention, you create a life filled with purpose, progress, and possibility. You stop merely existing and begin truly evolving. Serve others. Building a life of purpose through impact serving others is one of the most meaningful ways to create purpose in your life. When you shift your attention from yourself to the people around you, you begin to see the world through a wider lens. You notice needs, struggles, and opportunities to help. In a society that often encourages self-centered goals and individual success, choosing to serve others becomes a powerful act of intention. It reminds you that your life is interconnected with the lives of those around you, and that your actions, no matter how small, can create lasting change. Service is not about grand gestures. It is rooted in everyday moments, offering a listening ear, extending kindness when it's difficult, sharing your time even when you're busy, or supporting someone without expecting anything in return. These small choices create impact. They build bonds of trust and compassion that strengthen communities and relationships. When you serve others genuinely, you make them feel valued and seen, and that feeling can change someone's life in ways you may never fully understand. One of the most powerful outcomes of serving others is the way it transforms your own mindset. When you focus only on your own problems, they tend to feel heavier and larger. But when you step outside yourself and support others, your perspective expands. You begin to recognize that everyone carries their own burdens and that you have the ability to make someone's load a little lighter. This realization brings humility. It softens your heart and strengthens your character. You learn that significance doesn't come from title or status, but from contribution. Serving others also fuels a deeper sense of fulfillment than personal achievements alone can provide. Achievements bring excitement, but that feeling is temporary. Service brings meaning, and meaning lasts. When you help someone grow, heal, or move forward, you create a ripple effect. The impact of your actions extends far beyond the moment. You contribute to the progress of another human being, and in doing so, you become part of something bigger than yourself. That sense of purpose brings a kind of joy that success alone cannot offer. Another powerful aspect of service is the clarity it brings to your own life. When you give your energy to helping others, you begin to discover your strengths, passions, and values. You notice what matters to you and what kind of difference you want to make. Purpose becomes clearer not by thinking about it endlessly, but by engaging with the world and contributing to it. Through service, you learn what fulfills you and what aligns with the person you want to become. Serving others also builds resilience. When you invest in the well-being of others, you become more grounded and emotionally strong. You develop empathy, patience, and the ability to navigate challenges with a balanced perspective. Service teaches you to respond to life not with fear or frustration, but with compassion and commitment. In the end, serving others shapes not only the lives you touch, but also the life you live. It fills your days with meaning, your heart with gratitude, and your journey with purpose. Through service, you leave behind a legacy of kindness and impact, something that will continue long after the moment has passed.